After scouring through Twitter and analyzing thousands of different Elon tweets from the past couple years, I have compiled all of the data and finally found two posts that are about unannounced Tesla products. There were a lot of bullseyes and yups out there, but these two more recent posts actually got me quite excited because, I have my issues with Elon and disagreements with all that, but I still love Tesla as a company. I'm amazed with the supercharger network, and their ability to profitably scale vehicles is just insanely cool. And after the We Robot event, I thought Tesla may have been potentially done with vehicle unveils, at least. It was kind of like, hey, we've unveiled all the cars we need to, now we're in the robotics era, which I'm just less excited for because it's so much more dependent on software that just doesn't exist yet. But there have been several fairly popular tweets talking about how Teslas don't have enough seats for bigger families, and of course tying in with Elon's heartstrings when it comes to we need to mainstream the concept of having more kids and bigger families, because he's very concerned about the birth rate decline and the planet being underpopulated, which is a whole different subject. But at first I just saw a big post saying that Teslas need more seats because I can't fit my whole family in a single Tesla. And at first his response was just a mere okay, which I thought, okay, maybe he's alluding to something, but most likely he's just like, okay, we have to finish full self-driving software so that we can get the Robovan out there. The Robovan is going to be the solution to all our problems. How the heck is the ground clearance supposed to work on that thing? And also, it's going to be heavily dependent on software that, again, doesn't exist yet. And Elon has been saying that software is almost done for the past 8 years. So forgive me for being a little skeptical about the complete autonomy timelines. But then I got a lot more excited from a follow-up post saying, hey, Elon, I have a big old family and I've been following your word, having lots of kids because you told me the birth rate has declined. And then Elon responded that yes, the Robovan should help with that, but we also have some other things in the works too. And it feels like the good old days again. I feel like this whole channel started with just analyzing vague comments from Elon replies. It's hard to find these kind of speculative posts these days, but when it happens, it just kind of warms my heart a little bit, because speculation is what we love to do here on Talos of EV, and if you don't like speculation, then just don't watch the channel. But there's really three main routes I could see Tesla taking to making a higher occupancy vehicle in the future, because we know they haven't announced new gigafactories, aside from, of course, the Tesla semi-factory, which is coming along nicely. Check out Zangler's account on Twitter if you'd like to see more day-to-day updates. But Tesla has been pretty clear that they want to just continue expanding their vehicle lineup and offering more affordable models with their existing factory line. So I don't think there's a very real chance that Tesla is just going to build another factory somewhere on the East Coast specifically for a higher occupancy vehicle, but there's some retrofits, there's some modifications they can make to their existing vehicle lineups. Of course, a very popular one that's been speculated on for a while is taking the Cybertruck platform and instead of having a 6-foot bed in the back, converting it into a fairly large 3-row SUV. Depending on how space efficient Tesla gets, maybe even a 4-row van, and enclose it a little bit, which a lot of people have speculated on, which I think marketing wise might be a pretty genius idea, because the Cybertruck is still fairly eye-catching. A lot of influencers and celebrities out there still enjoy talking about their Cybertrucks and bragging about how much they love the look and how different it is. Plus, we know that the Cybertruck platform is already on a higher voltage architecture. So as Tesla begins rolling out more and more V4 cabinets next year, then you could have a high occupancy vehicle that could still charge up to 500 kilowatts, which would be pretty exciting. However, the only downside, of course, is the Cybertruck, at least right now, is still a fairly pricey vehicle. And of course, adding a 3rd row and more roof mass to the back, probably not going to reduce the cost overall. So it would most likely still be a $80,000 or $90,000 vehicle, which doesn't really help move the needle all that much or address, I think, all of the everyday people tweeting at him like, hey, I've got a big family, how can I fit them all into a single Tesla? So there was actually some hints that we got from analysts over in Giga Shanghai claiming that with the Model Y Juniper refresh, maybe this won't come to the rest of the world, but at least Giga Shanghai could be working on a Model Y with an extended wheelbase. So you just take the Model Y platform, share as many components and seats seats and, you know, exterior parts as you can, but just lengthen the back row of the Model Y a little bit so that the third row option, the 7-seater, actually has a bit of leg room, and maybe the Model Y feels a little bit more boxy. Wouldn't be a terrible idea to help preserve market share against the Rivian R2, which there's a lot of hype in demand for, and the R2 is definitely leaning more into the, hey, let's not have every vehicle on the road be like kind of tapered off in a bar of soap. Let's prioritize cargo space and storage, and maybe Tesla could easily modify the Model Y a little bit, keep costs low, and also have a decent amount of storage in the back. I think that what Rivian has discovered with all the tremendous success of the Rivian R1S, and Kia has found with the EV9 as well, is that there's a ton of demand out there, especially for families, for 3-row SUVs that are electric but affordable, and there's just sadly not a lot of options out there right now. And it sounds like, based on Elon's tweets, Tesla might actually be realizing this and going, okay, what could we do to offer more seats at a low price? And maybe they're just acknowledging the 7-seater Model Y isn't really cutting it for people, because that third row, I've sat in it myself, is just really intended for little kids, and a lot of parents and adults out there are like, yeah, no, I want a bigger car than that. So the last option I could potentially think of, which involves a little bit of assembly line recycling, is taking advantage of the fact that the Model S and X, unfortunately, they're just not selling all that well, and the Fremont factory is already fairly crowded as it is, but I'm sure most of it is designated, of course, to building Model 3s and Ys. But if Tesla just ultimately decided that there's not enough demand for the Model S and X, they could probably just stop making them, which is hard for me to say. I love them, and I wish they would get updated to be higher voltage architecture with steer-by-wire. There's some really cool upgrades they could make to them, but knowing Tesla and how they want to build vehicles for extreme scale all the time, I wouldn't be shocked if they decided, let's just scrap the Model S and X assembly lines, but recycle a lot of the supply chain, like the skateboard with the 1865 cells on the inside, and just build a somewhat aerodynamic and super efficient minivan on that same platform. I know some people hate the stigma of minivans, but I think they're overhated. The sliding doors are simple and powered, and you don't have to worry about the kids in the back row swinging up the doors and banging the cars next to them. But Tesla's been building these battery packs for the Model S and X with the 1865 cells for a long time, so I wouldn't be shocked if they've got the economies of scale down so that they could build them relatively affordably, and they just need to redesign the exterior a little bit around the Model S and X, and instead of having fancy like Falcon Wing doors or absurdly quick powertrains like the Plaid, save that for the Roadster, because you've been kicking that off for way too long, and build the Roadster wherever you're going to build it, but maybe convert the S and X line into a minivan that could get well over, 300 miles of range, because it's got a 100 kilowatt hour pack, and you'd have lots of storage space, plus have comfortable seating for 7 or 8 people, however many seats they can cram in there. Bench seats are awesome. Tesla, please revive those. If you could have 3 bench seats in a row, that's a 9-seater. And knowing Tesla and their aerodynamics analysis, they could probably make it fairly efficient, and of course still have supercharging access. And hopefully that one wouldn't be as outrageously expensive as a Cyber SUV. But either way, I'm excited at the potential that Tesla could be working on a higher occupancy vehicle, and I hope it involves just kind of converting an existing product. But which product do you think they should tweak or adjust the most? Or do you hate all these ideas and just hope Tesla starts completely over from scratch? I don't see that happening, but feel free to speculate along with me down in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. And thanks again. Have an excellent rest of your day.